Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Friday, and as you can see, Easter weekend for those celebrating. Statutory holiday for us, so nobody's working. We've got a long weekend, probably one of our first big long weekends heading into spring. And we're going to just kick it off with something fun today. It's another one of my firsts. Today it's my first, yeah, you can tell, my first Monty Python album. Give you a little better shot of the cover there. Monty Python Live in Drury Lane, 1974 album. I think it's about their fourth or fifth album. They'd had quite a few out by this time. This was the first live one and contained a lot of material from the television show. Now, in 1974, I was just kind of getting into what Monty Python was doing. I was living in an area where we didn't have a lot of television. I mean, there was no satellites, no streaming. It was just strictly antenna. And, of course, Monty Python was not on our local stations. But we did have a PBS station out of Watertown, WNPE, WNPI. And they would have fundraising drives twice a year, as public television does. But the station manager down there, Bill Safe, was great. He'd come out and he'd buy packages that the fans wanted. He'd come on during the pitch, and it wasn't like the pitches they have these days. He'd be on and say, okay, we've got a British comedy pitch or block. Anybody that wants to buy that, send your funds in, tell them that's what you want them to go to, and we'll make sure we get them. Monty Python, you like that show? Send your membership in, tell them that's what you want to support, we'll make sure we get it on. And Monty Python ran for years on there, and that's one of the first places I had seen them. And I mean, I love the British comedy. I love the sketch comedy. I'd already been through Second City TV, SCTV. Second run, I'm going to say with National Lampoon, had some stuff out, which we'll talk about in another couple of weeks. We were ahead of Saturday Night Live at this point. So it hadn't really kicked off. So this was really inventive. Now, had a little problem, as many do, tuning into the Brit speak. I mean, understanding the language, understanding the slang, but I mean, it took a few weeks, but boy, was it worth it. This album is kind of like a greatest hits of all the fun bits on the show. And if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. Let's just go down who's in the cast for this, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with all of them. We had Graham Chapman, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam, Eric Idle, Terry Jones, Michael Palin. Now, some of them went on to do other things after. Some of them not as much. I mean, John Cleese, he's had a great run with Fawlty Towers. He's been in a lot of movies. Eric Idle showed up a few times on Saturday Night Live. He also had a PBS show of his own. Terry Jones and I believe Michael Palin, they had a series they developed as well. So there's been lots since Monty Python, but this was some classic material. Let me tell you what's on this album, just to give you an idea. We've got the llamas, the Gumbies on flower arrangement. I mean, who could forget the Gumbies? They're classic characters. They created a million last year, I'll tell you. Secret Service, wrestling, the Communist Quiz, the Idiot Song. Now, Neil Innes did a lot of the music on here, and you remember we talked about Neil when we talked about the Ruddles. When they put together, Eric Idle did the Ruddles tribute to the Beatles. We got Albatross, the Colonel, the classic Nudge Nudge, and who hasn't done that with their friends when you're out someplace, right? The old Nudge Nudge sketch. Cocktail Bar, Travel Agent, Spot the Brain Cell, the Bruces, right? The Australian University, Wallabaloo, the Bruces, another classic. Argument, right? Is this the right room for an argument? You know what I'm talking about. Four Yorkshiremen, the Election Special, the classic Lumberjack song, and I mean, who hasn't sung that? I mean, it's another, just piece of history. And one of the classic skits up there with Nudge Nudge, the Parrot Sketch. There's just some great material on here, brings back some great memories. I mean, you're going to be visualizing it as you listen to it. We really hadn't gotten into the year of video yet. I mean, videotapes, I don't even think by 74 they were really out. There might have been a few, but I mean, it wasn't a commercial thing where you were going out renting videos and you could buy a lot of these things. This was how we had to preserve it. I mean, I can remember sitting in front of the TV for some shows with my tape recorder recording Saturday Night Live just so I could listen to it back again because we didn't have VCRs at that time. So anyways, great way to kick off your weekend. Lots of laughs, lots of great memories from a great comedy troupe. Monty Python's Flying Circus, live in Drury Lane. Not much more I can say about that, but you're going to have a lot of fun. Great weekend coming up. Hope everybody enjoys it. Those of you that are celebrating, enjoy that long weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Till then, take care, stay safe, have a few laughs, and thanks for stopping by.